Oh, my mercy me.
Can I do a quick intro before we start?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead, WB.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hello, I'm WB. People named me this moniker in part for wisdom base. A lot of us, we're talking for the very first time ever. We're all part of the China team and the Beijing team. As a matter of fact, I have today to sign the contract for Beijing, and I'm very proud and happy to be able to do that. And that highlights the greater miracle that's been happening that has involved Chris, who you see, and Michelle, who you see, and Sean, who I'm sure you'll hear from because I think he's on the phone today, Michael, Lee, Wayne, and so many others. Welcome to this call, and thank you for being part of this grassroots movement that's literally changing everything. I just want to share a story before we start. By the way, we always do our meetings under an agreement. So the meeting agreement for this is agreement.globalfortknox.com, just so that everybody's clear. Basically, be good. don't hurt the project, etc. But just for perspective, I just want to give you background because word on the street, I never talked to other country developers, just like I haven't talked to my own team members because I've been so busy for more than a month building foundations to fill in the missing pieces so we could go big. And a country developer literally chased me down, even though I refused their calls. I mean, even Jerry's calls, and he said he had heard on the street that Keith had been offered several $1 billion to buy the license for just one country. Now, I have not gone and chased down the confirmation on this, but that was a word on the street by a country developer, by major institutional investors. And guess what Keith did? He, in fact, gave it to one of us. He gave China to one of us, and today, I'm signing the contract for Beijing as a city developer, finally, well more than a month into it. And thank you, Chris and Michelle and Sean and everyone else. We have worked so hard to get this whole pipeline working. And there's still a few pieces to fill in, obviously. And we're a startup married with a tech behemoth. But what that shows to me is Keith's heart. Is that amazing or what? Like, just that story of showing in his behavior that he takes several $1 billion offer, if this is in fact verifiable, and gives it to somebody and finances it, does that show heart or what? And that proves what he told me on the very first interview. He said, I'm looking for people with heart. And that's the kind of person he is. And this is exactly what he is seriously looking for, is people like our team with heart also to personally partner with. And he will personally sign your contract. Okay, so, don't worry if it's delayed because it's executed in 2 parts anyways. It's good as soon as you sign it. But let's beat these big institutions to the punch. This is the people's network. Let's build this people's network. Let's turn upside down the problems of Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and be the real people's network where the internet pays our families. The internet pays us, not some big private.
You're all set? You're all set?
Not some big private faceless.
I can't hear you. Okay.
Okay, we'll have to mute you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thanks for that, admins, for that quick mute. Thank you. And instead of the big institutions controlling everything off our backs, you've heard Sean mention in our trainings, the 1 or 2 that we recorded, that your cell phone company might be making $800 a month, plus or minus, a month off selling your geolocation, your personal data, So I have heard that the People's Network has been used as a name before, but Keith personally verified that he did trademark this around the world. So where people have failed before with the idea of a People's Network, Keith has spent 10 or 20 years and billions of dollars rolling it out already. And now we have the ability to use that word, unless compliance says otherwise because it's linked to helium or whatnot. Last I heard, and we'll hear from Chris right away on that, the People's Network is a concept whose time has come, and Keith has bankrolled it, and Keith is something else. Keith also liked the idea of get paid to join the conversation. That was one of the first things he told me up front. Get paid to join the conversation instead of paying with your privacy to join anybody else's conversation, like at Facebook or SMS text message. So long story short, Keith is the real deal. He's been around for a long time. Basically we grilled each other for 2.5 hours in our very first conversation. We'd love to continue that. And every time I've seen him, he's acted like one of those super conscious people. It's a big heart and a big intelligence. It's real world wisdom and real world results. So if you've done anything, get to know this project. And let me then introduce Sean and Chris and Michelle, who you'll hear from or see for the majority of this meeting. Sean, for example, is probably one of the biggest hearted people I've seen. So no wonder it clicked when we were all talking with Keith all together. And he has an amazing team put together, an amazing compliance team, of which Chris is the right-hand man for years, for 5 years, for an amazing compliance team. And Chris is also amazing at everything else, like presentations and spreadsheets, and basically being the amazing glue that keeps everything together with Michelle. So you're going to see and hear a lot from them today. And thank you for the opportunity to talk for the first time ever as a team. This is historic. We call ourselves team at globalfortknox.com, so you can memorize the email right there, team@globalfortknox.com. Please email in any questions. Please go to faq.globalfortknox.com, go to the same day training, and go to the live training Telegram group. And so without further ado, I'll turn it over to Chris and Michelle and Sean, and please take notes because today is life-changing for everybody.
Sean Starr, are you there, buddy?
Well, good morning. Yes, I am, brother. How are you?
I am well, thank you for asking.
Awesome. Well, good morning, everybody. So I'm really glad to be here. So listen, I would like to start this meeting out. We have a very special treat. We're going to get a sneak peek into what's coming. We've been building out the back offices for this combination of joining these two incredible companies together so that we could actually create what we're doing. It's never been created before. So I'm going to kind of go from the start just to build the picture in your mind. And then Chris and Michelle are going to go over a presentation, show you that's what's been coming and being put together in the backside. And I think you guys are going to be very excited, honestly, on what you see in that depth, that this isn't just something that just started last week. And we hope it works. And that kind of scenario that might cross somebody's, idea because they don't know based on past experiences or what typically happens. And so I'm very excited about that. But so let's go back over and start where our company started. Our company is called Up to Give, and we started out in December this last year, ended up with about 60,000 members. And interestingly enough, we came out with a company to provide an ecosystem to start helping people because we saw a big need in the market. And Jerry Lopez is the CEO of that. And so that's what we set out. But the four things we wanted to set out was, how could we create a way to give to each other individually? And how could we create a system that would allow us to be a part of an ecosystem on a global basis so that when we did need help and we did need people to help us through problems, we could set up a system that allow our ecosystem to be a global one instead of maybe just a few friends and family or the Facebook friends we might have or the people we have at work and some of the people at church. And all those things are fantastic. But typically what happens in those situations, forgive my rough voice, I've been talking so much this morning. What happens in those situations is that there's never enough to help people to get through their problem, much less to take care of the problem. And so that's why we wanted to create that. The second thing we wanted to create was, how do we bank people? How do we get people banking and get into the banking system? And for that, we did a partnership with a company called Oohlala, which is its own bank. It's backed by some of the major U.S. and international banks. And it's created the only patents in the world where we can actually bank the unbankable, which is important. And what I mean by that is there's third world countries, in fact, that people have never had any banking. And because of ability to hand them a phone and to have them download an app, they can now actually get into the banking system. And with that banking system, we can now create where they're in part of the world so they can advance their families. It also takes care of people that have had credit, maybe went through problems or foreclosures or bankruptcies or issues. It allows us to get people credit that couldn't get credit before. It helps us to build people's credit rating back. Allows us to give them micro loans based on deposit history, not on credit history, while they're getting started. It changes their whole world to be able to accomplish those things. The third thing we wanted, which is actually one of the key foundations of doing all this, is we wanted to create an educational platform that would actually help people with social skills and educational tools. And we could do it for the entire family for $32 a month, where they could get partnered with our Soft Skills Training Institute, which we partnered with, which is the only U.S. Certified company, and it's the largest online educator on planet Earth, which is very important to understand all of that. Now, when you realize that, what does that actually mean for you? Well, it means that we can actually get people education and get them to move up in their jobs and to change what's going on in their life on a much deeper level than what they're doing currently. And they could do it because they can actually afford what's going on. So, and that's the most important part of the things that we got to do. Now, the fourth thing that we were creating is what we call our social revolution. And on our social revolution, we had some other plans, but as life takes place, and sometimes as eloquently a few minutes ago, WB just announced miracles do happen and God has a way of coming in. And that miracle for us was Prime Strategies, the Prime Global Group. And really, let's talk about what this new technology is and why is it important for us and what's the value to you. And so why did it come out in the first place? So let's talk about that real quick, and then I'll talk about where we're going, and then I'll let Chris come back in. But here's what's important to that. What our global revolution is about giving people money, doing the things that they're doing right now at home without changing their lifestyle. It allows us to give you an income so that the education is not an issue, so that the banking is not an issue. So taking care of helping people is not an issue, starting with yourself. Because you know what, if you guys don't take care of yourself, you can never take care of the rest of the world or the people that we do care about, because there's no way to actually do that. Theoretically, it sounds great, but if you don't have a way to survive, then how does that help anybody? And that's really what's important. With PrimeGate, we're coming out, we're going to talk about 3 of the products this morning. We're not going to talk about the 200 plus that are actually coming, but I hope that these give you a great idea. So one of the first things we're coming out with is a hub called the Laura Hub that allows people to participate in an income into an ecosystem that has been created with the PrimeGate Global Group of companies. Everybody, there's literally over 120 companies that have been developing this network we're going to talk about. Today's internet, the Internet of Things, the IoT network, that's what they call it, okay? They've been developing this with tens of billions of dollars for the last 20 years. And a lot of these companies have been in place for over 40 years. So we're not talking about a Hobart Works foundation of business. We're talking about Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 10 companies, the people that have literally changed the structure of our world, even if you didn't know it. And that's how big this is. And the blessing, the gift is they saw what we were doing it Up to Give, and they said, let us be a part of that, and let's take what we were going to do and let's expand it to the personal touch. And so what happened was they came up with $1 billion plus deal, $2 billion deal, where they were 10,000 city developers and create millions of customers to participate in a network that exists today. And that's very, very, you can't even imagine the depth of what that actually means for families. But what it's going to mean is a generational income change for you that are city developers, and the individual families to be able to have the food, to have the gas, to be able to educate their children, to be able to have a better lifestyle is the most important thing that we can do, period, on earth. Now you partner that back with the other services that I just talked about, and you have really what I would call a complete home run where we're taking care of people. Now the Prime Group, you guys might not realize it, but they've been developing with the US government the internet that it is today. So companies like Google and Yahoo actually pay them for being on the internet. That's how far back these boys and girls go. They literally get paid by them. In fact, they've been in the telecom industry forever. Some of you guys might know them as Grand Central if you're in the IT tech world years ago. But let me give you another example of another way Google has to pay them. Google pays them because that telecom service is providing phone services globally for people today. It's called Google Voice. Google actually pays us a license agreement for that information too. They realized years ago that entertainment was the way to get to people, because all of us listen to our music, we watch our movies, we watch the things we care about, and we enjoy those things, whether it's sports, TV, music, whatever. And they started creating that. In fact, they have the largest broadcast service on planet Earth. And so it's amazing when you start realizing all the stuff that they do. Let's talk about some of the music stuff. Years ago in the US, when they were before the MP3 players and all that stuff, they created a web service called Billboard Magazine. And what that actually software allowed you to do is to play part of a song. So when you went and bought your CD, or back then even a cassette desk, you could actually go buy the songs in this, that's on the CD or tapes that you wanted to buy, and you put that and you could buy it. That codex or software is what turned out to be billions of devices sold across the world, and those were our little Walkmans or our CD players we put on our lap. Now, the next version of that, there were some very large companies that really saw the value of that, and our business started becoming more digital. And that became the first, what they call the MP3 player or software. And the first company that started doing that, we created that codex into what they call QuickTime Player, or what everybody now knows is Apple Music or entertainment with their TVs and movies. Now, what's understandable and what's important about understanding that is Apple licenses Apple Music from PrimeGate Global Group of companies. That's how big it is, on billions of devices across the globe in every country of the world. Another small company did it on the other side called Microsoft. They use a little program called Music Match. So when you start realizing these guys are the guys that have built the software and the platforms and the systems for every major company that we're all using today, whether you realize it or not, is coming from this company that we have partnered with at Up to Give, and that's why we're so excited. For example, let's talk about TV. We're going to be giving out a product called Up to Give TV where you can get paid to watch TV. Well, that's important to understand, because a lot of people now on your smart TVs now, guess what? You can watch 60 to 100 channels depending on your area of the world. You can get your local channels in that. And there's a lot of TVs, whether it's your LG, your Samsung, your Sony, your Vizio. There's other TVs that you can download on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, whatever. They all have other programs as well. You probably have heard of them. They're called Pluto, Plex, Crackle TV, all of those. All of those are white label products, and all those services on those TVs are white label products that come from our broadcasting service. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving people a free download on their TV, Apple device, their computer, their tablet, whatever it is. They can download it and now watch TV, but they're going to be able to get paid through the Helium token for watching TV, because it's all coming from our network. We have another one called Prime Chat. Everybody across the world is now communicating, because communication is expensive, and they're doing it on WeChat. They're doing it on WhatsApp. They're doing it on Telegram. They're doing it on simple texting. But it costs a lot of money if you just do it for the phone carriers to communicate, to send pictures, to send files, to call, do group calls, etc. So a lot of people use these services. Well, those are our services, and we have ours called Prime Chat. So when you guys use our Prime Chat that you can download on your phone or your computer, guess what? Now you can talk anywhere in the world, send pictures, send files, but here's the difference. You get paid to actually chat. Now, I could go on and on for an hour, seriously, about all the companies that have been affected. When you guys, for example, travel on Priceline.com, that software is actually from our company. When you guys go into Home Depot or should purchase at Walmart, that software, those back-end software and that stuff, the software that takes care of those companies, that comes from our company. Those are all white label products that come from our company. When you start realizing the vastness, besides all of the services that are provided through the LoRa Hub network and all of the devices that we take care of across the globe, it just becomes overwhelming what's really going on. Now, I say this in a different way, kind of the same way every single time, but it all comes out to be the same thing. I'm not reading from a script. I'm just wanting you guys to understand how big this is. They also own, there's a, banks, as banking became bigger and bigger and bigger, there was a thing called the derivatives market that was created. And the derivatives market is where they trade large volumes of gold, silver, bonds, stocks, etc. All the hedge funds. Every bank on planet Earth uses the derivative platform to do that. And they do it through one company called the London DX, and it does derivatives. And because it's a global banking system that our company owns, because our company does own it, they're trading over $2 trillion a day, every single day. I hope you guys are understanding just how big that is. That is who PrimeGate partnered with UpToGive. And they did it to start putting out 200 plus goods and services that actually affects people in the way that they live. The first product, though, that we're really focusing on is we made an agreement as a company to create 10,000 city developers and millions of customers because of the service. And we're doing that by selling you a box that creates a new network called the LongFi Network. Now, why is that network important? What is it created for? Let me give you an idea. It is the only network that actually can broadband a UHF signal up to 10 miles that can actually distribute broadband through a radio wave signal. That is important to understand. It creates its own network. It's not the internet. It creates its own network. And what it's doing is it's going to be reading devices and helping devices and connect the world. Chris is going to do a fantastic job in a minute telling you just how that works. And it's much, much, much bigger than I could possibly do. I don't have the eloquent words that Chris and Michelle do. Wait till you hear them speak. WB was exactly correct. Thank goodness God put those two as my right arm to help all of us to be here, because without them, what I would do would be literally impossible to do on the level that we need to do it to help you. And so what they're doing and what they're doing at the PrimeGate and the back end to help us get all on the same page is nothing less than amazing. But this box, let's talk about one of the reasons it was developed. I want you to think about some examples. There were places in the world like Haiti, Katrina, 9/11. A lot of these were huge issues. And the reason they were huge issues is because we lost communication. And why is that a huge issue? Well, because we couldn't get service personnel to save lives, and we lost service personnel trying to save lives because we had no communication. So back in the 90s, that's when this started, in the 2000s. That's when this technology started to be created. But after 9/11 and these things started happening, they started to finish out that platform to create the Internet of Things of what they are today. See, what's interesting about this IoT network is we wouldn't have lost communication with our servicemen and women. Tens of thousands of lives could have literally been saved because of what we're putting out now. And the reason we're putting this box out now is because we can sell somebody a box for $500. Then they're going to own roughly a 2 to 10 square mile radius that's geo-fenced around their address. And they get to own that part of the network. That's why we call it the People's Network, and we trademarked it, the People's Network, for those reasons. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Well, as soon as you buy a box, within 48 hours, this revenue that's created from the Internet of Things that Chris is going to go over, it starts generating you an income. When your box does show up to your home or your office, all you have to do is simply plug it in to a power source, plug it into the back of the box, set it down. And what that box is essentially doing is sending out that radio wave signal, lowering the cost to go put that business to a negative figure. And theoretically, what we're doing is sharing in those revenues that PrimeGate is giving to us so that we could give back money. That's just one way that they are participating in the world to obliterate poverty with the UpToGive network. This is why this is so important. This is an ecosystem designed to change you and your family's lives. And this is all about you. Now, the next part that we're going to talk about and why we're on the phone is because we're all city developers. Now, if you want to go to one of our 4 companies, one is Helium and 3 around the world, and you were to purchase your own city development license, that would be really important. You could do that. You would have to write a check for $40,000, and you could only get paid in the city that you actually purchased for all these things. Now, that's wonderful. But what we created here at UpToGive is we created a partnership where Keith Buck and his group of companies have put in over $2 billion into the Prime Global Impact Fund through the United Nations to fund a $40,000 license for you. But it's different for us here at PrimeGate over anybody else in the world because we are the top of the network above these other networks. And we get something that nobody else gets. So let me tell you what that is. We get to take advantage of a city developer license in exchange for our work and sharing this information instead of writing a check. But we get so much more than that, what you're fixing to hear about. The next thing that you're going to realize is that as a city developer, you get to override as one city somewhere on planet Earth or multiple cities on planet Earth, doesn't matter what country. And you get a 25% of the revenue that comes from that city every single month. But not only do you get a generational income that's going to change your lives and your family's lives and the business people and friends you brought in to be a city developer, you're now going to be able to give money to people so that they can feed their families, put gas in their cars, and change their daily lives. This is what's so important about completing this ecosystem and why paying attention to what we've been doing in the background that Chris and Michelle are eloquently going to express to you. Why this is important and why it's important for you. I hope that just recapping this information that WB and his team have been putting out for you so that you understand what is going on in the world today. Because this is not about our company. This is about you and you specifically and why that's absolutely important. So today you got to take notes. You got to pay attention. This is not some program. This is not an Amazon program where you can be affiliate selling stuff on TV. It's none of that stuff. This is about you and about directing a revenue that's already in place, about an ecosystem that's been spent and built for the Internet of Things for the last 20 years with billions and billions of dollars put together on it with over 120 of our Fortune 100 companies. So we're not going anywhere. So make sure you understand that when you're listening to Chris talk about it, because this is about you. So I'm excited about what we're doing, but I'm more excited that we get to this week, through the next 2 weeks after the first of the month, that we get your businesses and get you to an understanding where you absolutely have no doubt about what it is that you have and why it's important for you, the friends you care about, and the families we're going to touch on every single aspect that we're going to do. And I can't possibly begin to tell you all of the stuff that is coming your way, but you should be very excited because it's all about you. And I want to thank you for the time and the introduction. So WB, Chris, thank you for just letting me give a short story, just a recap of what we're doing. I can't wait for them to see the back end on the depth of what's being put together on the backside that nobody here knows. I can't wait for them to see your screen and how we're taking care of that. So I really appreciate everybody's time. More importantly, thank you for your time, because your time and me to be here with you is the single most important thing that I can do every day to make sure that we are taking care of you. So thank you again, WB and Chris. And Chris, I'm going to turn the phone back over to you. Thank you for that time.
Wow. Thank you, buddy. I don't know how to follow that. Okay. I know exactly how to follow that. Everybody can go now. Sean did it all. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. And thank you for the introduction. But more importantly, guys and gals, thank you guys. You guys have done an amazing job. So I want to first shout out to WB's team here and guests, because we did kind of let some folks know that we were doing this today. And if they could or needed to jump over and spend some time with us. So absolutely a huge turnout here today. So thankful, so thankful. And I just want to congratulate each and every one of you all for being a city developer, right? A city developer, because being a city developer is very important. You're going to find out a few of the reasons why today. And so before we do that, we've got some housekeeping that I would like to do. Michelle, are you available? I know that you're kind of doing double duty today.
Hello.
Hey there, Michelle. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, many of you have been dealing behind the scenes with Michelle Whidbey, who I take great pride in calling my partner in crime, my ride or die, my sister. We've become great friends. Not only is she a phenomenal person and mom, she's also one of those people that just, she's going to do everything she can to help you. And she's not going to stop until she finds a solution. And that is one of the reasons that I ask her to join me in this, and not only to join me in the building of this great opportunity that we all have before us, but also to come on board at corporate. And quite honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys, she made me sweat, right? She made me sweat because she said, so what exactly does that mean? And we went into details, and she said, well, let me think about it. It was 3 days, guys, 3 days before she said, okay, I'll do that with you. I was like, phew. She put me through the ringer. So I want to introduce everybody to Michelle Whidbey and let her introduce herself as well, because I want you guys to be able to put a face and a voice with the person you're dealing with. Michelle?
Hey guys, I'm sorry I don't have my microphone on, but so I'm having to speak a little bit loud, and I hope you can hear me. I'm Michelle Whidbey in Franklin, Tennessee, just so that you guys kind of know where I'm located. And Chris is right. I did come on with corporate, and you know what? It's been a pleasure. I get to work with Chris every day, and Sean and WB and all these great leaders out there. But you know what? I had to first make sure that my team was taken care of, because I came on here as a leader as well. And so I'm also in the field with you guys. So I know what you guys are going through, and I appreciate, you guys have no idea how much we appreciate you guys having the patience with Chris and myself, because we do have a lot of contracts that are going out, a lot of things that are happening at one time. And you guys are rock stars. Let me just tell you, we are amazed every day when we open up our emails and we see all these contracts coming in. So fabulous job that you guys are doing. And please know that we're here to help you guys as much as we can. And you know what, Chris, it's a pleasure being able to work with you every day as well. And it's my honor that I get to work with you. So with that, guys, I'm going to let Chris get this started, because I know everybody is super excited about seeing all these new enhancements that's coming our way soon.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way. I know that I know we've had WB speak, we've had Sean speak, and Michelle speak now, but I just want to get a few things out of the way right up front, so that we can answer a couple of those questions that have been coming in, and hopefully with the 100 folks that are on the line, the answers will resonate with you all, and you'll be able to pass those along to your teams. Most likely preventing them from having the same exact questions that you guys have, right? So at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that everyone knows how excited we are to be working with each and every one of you. What a blessing it is. We're just so blessed to have all of you guys with us, okay? So please know that, and we value your time, we value your energy, we value the people that you are, and we just look forward to watching each and every one of you bloom to your maximum capacity, and it's just going to be such an honor. As Michelle said, we are corporate, but we're corporate through contract, meaning that we have a contract with corporate. We do not own any part of the company and or given any part of the company, okay? So we are outside contractors, third party to be exact. Not only are we outside contractors and third party, but we're also in the field with you guys. So when you guys send us messages or ask questions, you guys are asking some of the same questions and having some of the same things to talk about that actually we have personally with our teams as well as corporate, because we have to get those questions answered for ourselves and our teams as well, right? So don't ever feel bashful. At the end of the day, what's the fun part is that we're all in this together, and the only crazy question is the one that goes unasked, right? So congratulations to each and every one of you guys for that as well. Now, the second piece of housekeeping I want to take care of really quickly is the fact that we have been asking leaders to collect invoice numbers and receipts. Guys, this is not an invasion of privacy, and it's not a point of belief or non-belief, okay? Here's the deal. Michelle and I are creating spreadsheets on the back end so that we can audit the system, before it goes live. That's correct. Before it goes live, we're trying to prevent you guys from having headaches, from you guys having to answer difficult questions, from you guys not knowing why someone may or may not didn't, get credit for a person or a contract or whatever the case may be. This is a number one priority. As of 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time this past Friday, we halted all contracts being sent. You heard me correctly. We halted all contracts being sent. Why would we do that? Well, we did that because the most important thing at this particular moment is helping you guys get to our first goalpost, right? Our first goalpost is October 15th. Everybody wants to feel some of the reward, right, from all of the hard work that we've all done. So in order to do that, what is it that we can do, right? What is it we can do for the person that is not cooperating? Well, we can implore them, right? We can go to them, we can ask them, we can explain to them, look, the company is just asking for this so that they can have it for the records on the back end, so that they can actually look and make sure that all of the things are taken care of correctly. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank each and every one of you all that have done that and have gotten those, and a lot of you have. Unfortunately, more have not than have. I'm not exactly sure what the exact holdup is, but what I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is this. It's very simple. October 15th is rapidly approaching. The end of this month is rapidly approaching, okay? Wednesday night, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's done. That's it, okay? So everything that's going to be credited for anything that you might want to be compensated for on the 15th will stop on Wednesday. So I just want to make that clear. The third thing that I want to take care of housekeeping is this. Ladies and gentlemen, these contracts that we are helping and have the honor to help facilitate, Michelle and I, these contracts are very, very important. They are huge. They could be one of the biggest things that's ever happened in our lives. Now, you might be thinking, well, Chris, I bought a home and I own some businesses, and I bought a few cars, and all of those things had contracts, and all of those things were very big in my life. Yes, I agree. I do. I agree wholeheartedly for that. Okay. However, what I want to say to you is you've never signed a contract that has the ability to pay you for generations, decades to come. You've never signed a contract that you can leave in your will. You've never signed a contract that is going to give you peace of mind and help you sleep every single night. You've never signed a contract that has the ability to change your world as you know it, as well as your zip code and or any other thing that you want to change. Okay, these are huge, and we have to take this as a responsibility. When we first started doing this, some of the people in my team, and I can only speak for my team, okay, some of the people in my team, they were just going out there, and anybody that wanted a contract, get ready, they were going to get one. And you know what? I had to tell them, look, guys, you got to stop this. You can't do this. You can only offer these contracts to people who understand what it is about and why they're signing a contract to begin with. And I went a little further than that, and I said, look, if you don't think that these folks can fulfill a contract, then you should not be offering that contract to anyone, okay? Because a contract consists of what? 1, to activate and light the city, and 10, to actually qualify and activate that city. Okay. And so at the end of the day, what I want you to understand is these contracts are hugely important. Okay. Hugely important, not only for you, but for them. And what I like to tell people is simply this. Take this and think about it for just a second, guys. Just think about this for just a second. Okay. If the person you're offering a contract to, if you wouldn't go down to the local dealership and offer to co-sign with them, do you really want to offer them a city contract? I mean, come on. At the end of the day, we want to be in business with people that are responsible and that get it. Okay. And so this is not your normal MLM. It's not even MLM. It's not your normal network marketing company or affiliate company or direct sales company. This is something huge. This is something that you're going to be able to retire from and pass on to your family. So without further ado, let's get started. That's all the housekeeping for today. I hope everybody understands. The last thing I do want to just make everyone aware of, Michelle and I have another one of these calls at 3 o'clock. So we have a hard stop at 3 o'clock, and I'm going to do my best to not only get all the information to you guys, but also to be able to answer some questions. Okay. So if I seem like I'm going a little bit fast, forgive me. You're also going to see me take a sip every now and then of my coffee. That's to keep my throat wet and allow me to continue talking. Okay. So where are we going to start? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start at the beginning. And where is the beginning? Well, up until this point, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning has been up to give. The beginning has been up to give. And without up to give, we would not have had this glorious opportunity. And as Sean alluded to and so eloquently said, you know, without the relationship that Keith Buck and Jerry Lopez have, we wouldn't be sitting where we're sitting today. So we're just so blessed for all of the pieces to the puzzle to be coming together in the manner that they're coming together. So why am I showing you the up to give screen? I'm showing you the sign in screen because if you haven't logged into your back office at Up to Give recently, you may or may not know that we have a GB 2.0, GB 2.0 on the left-hand side of the screen. And on the left-hand side of the screen is our menu screen, correct? Once you log in. And when you log in, you're going to be able to just go right there and take advantage of logging into your portal, okay, with Prime Strategies. Now, is this a fun part? Is this the great part? Well, it's part of it. It's definitely part of it. And so when you do that and you click on the GB 2.0, you're going to be redirected to this screen. When you become redirected to the screen, you will notice that we have white labeled the tipping circle that you may or may not have made an account in to the Giving Box 2.0. Giving Box 2.0. So there's some things that have changed here, ladies and gentlemen. And I know a lot of you haven't been going here on a regular basis. And forgive me if I click on things that don't work. I'm just going to let you know up front that they are working around the clock in these sites, and that they are disabling and enabling things as they get them complete or they need to work on them. So if I click on something that doesn't work, please forgive me. It will be working when we flip the switch for all of you. So the most important thing to recognize is that we're the Giving Box 2.0 here. We also added the world. Why did we add the world? Because we're going to add the ability for this to be read and used in every language. Okay, now that takes a little bit of time, just so everybody understands. Okay, that does take a little bit of time. And the big thing here is this: right now, it is already active for you and your Spanish co-partners. Okay, and it's already active for you and your Portuguese co-partners. How cool is that? And so I don't speak those two languages, sorry, very fluently. So I keep mine set on English. And basically, it is the exact same site that was here. It's just been white labeled for us, okay, which is huge. This is hugely important. Now, once you land here, I want you to go ahead and take the opportunity to sign in. You're going to use the email and the password that you used when you originally signed up with what? Up to Give. Absolutely. Keep everything congruent, ladies and gentlemen, until we get all of this fixed. Because right now, there are 6 or 8 different places that you can sign in, and 6 or 8 different places that you would need to have a password and email for. Let's keep this stuff easy. Okay, let's keep this stuff easy. So let's look at this. I want you to recognize that this is the tipping circle, as you may or may not know it. And I also want you to scroll down and notice that there are people on your front page, okay? And a lot of people are misinterpreting. Hear me clearly. A lot of people are misinterpreting that these people are the only people or are the people in your lineage, or your team. That is not true. These are the people that you commingle with the most, hence most contacted. Okay. Now, what else I want you to understand is you want to give this, you want to give this to everybody. Okay. You want all your friends and family, everybody you know, to join your tipping circle. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you in just a second, but more importantly, you want to know how to get them there, right? So you're going to take them to your referral link. Just copy and paste this and give it to them. All right. And you'll notice that uptogive.tippingcircle.com, up to give has been added to tippingcircle.com. Okay. Now I want to clarify a few things right here, right now, before we go any further. This is the third version of this site. Why? Well, number one, the first version and the link that many of you were given to go look at the tipping circle with, which many of you decided to sign up with, was not even supposed to ever be given out. It was only there for the leaders, and the leaders were supposed to get acclimated. It was actually called a test site. That test URL was mytippingcircle.com, mytippingcircle.com, okay? And you would have been produced a number here. It would not have been in the twos. It would have been started with a 1, okay? So all the numbers and all the links that started with a 1, right, got put into the test site. Guess what, guys? That site wasn't live. So what we had to do was have our dev teams merge this one with the real site, which was tippingcircle.com, and all of us who used the tippingcircle.com link, we got an ID number that started with a 2, okay? So you'll notice mine is 224933. That is a tipping circle number. So then the second, or the real version of the website, was supposed to be used so that we could make all of the adjustments and get things ready for the launch, right? And we learned a few things as people were joining that. And so because we learned a few things, we have launched the third and final version, which is uptogive.tippingcircle.com, okay? And this is the last version. Now, will there be adjustments? Absolutely. They're working on it right now because there are a lot of tabs that are not here. And all of the things you're going to see today are tabs. So why is it taking a few minutes? Let's talk about that for a second. It was taking a few minutes because all of these glimpses, these sneak peeks of what your back office is going to look like today, they are all parts of different websites that have been up and running for quite some time. As a matter of fact, some of them, ladies and gentlemen, were on the shelf. Okay, we're on the shelf with Prime. They just had been created, they worked, they'd been tested, tried and true, and they just never had a good reason. Did you hear what I said? A good reason to use them. So they shelved them. That doesn't mean they didn't work, but it did mean that they were going to need to be updated and brought up to date and freshened up a little bit. Okay. All of these sites are Fortune 100 and 500 companies. All right. And they're all Prime companies, just so you know. Now, I do want to draw your attention to the fact of you have reward points here. So remember a few minutes ago, I said you want to give your tipping circle to everybody you know. You want them to be in there, right? Well, there's two reasons for that. Number one, hopefully you're going to do business with them sometime in the future, okay? And you want them to be connected to you. And number two, you want to earn 10 points, $10 reward points, by the way, for them joining your tipping circle. So we actually give you guys $10 in reward points, dollar per point, okay, for every person that joins your tipping circle. This is huge. Now, you might be saying, well, what are the points for? Well, the points are for things much like you would get with your airline rewards or your credit card rewards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And there's going to be a place. Oh, oops, I slipped. Okay, so there's going to be a place that you guys will be able to redeem those. So since I've let you on to the fact that there will be a place for you to redeem them, let me tell you some of the things that you might be able to redeem them for. One thing might be something like a premium channel. I believe the premium channels with our Prime One television are $49 a month. So maybe you want to have a premium channel for a few months. You can pay for that with your reward points, okay? And there's a lot of other things, and no, I'm not going to tell you what they are, but there are a lot of other things coming in our store. All right, let's go to dashboard. Dashboard is a very interesting little piece. So as you notice, when you put your cursor on dashboard, it shows you that you have a Tipping Circle dashboard and an A-Team affiliate dashboard. This is important information. Whenever you leave this dashboard, which is the front face, okay, you're going to click dashboard and Tipping Circle dashboard if you want to come back here. This is how you get here. Now, A-Team affiliate dashboard is something completely different. And the first time that you go here, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be asked to sign in. Oh boy. Oh, it's going to work. Maybe. You're going to be asked to sign in, use the same email, use the same password, okay, that you used to sign into the Tipping Circle. Now, once you've done that one time, it should automatically open just like this. This is the back. This is the back of the Tipping Circle. So you have a front and a back of each website, right? So there's a couple things that I want you guys to make very, very, very sure that this takes place, okay? So as you notice, the affiliate manager is MacBuck. Well, my affiliate manager is not MacBuck, okay? I am not direct to MacBuck by any means. MacBuck, by the way, is Keith. Now, for those of you who were brought on by WB, your affiliate manager would be WB right here, okay? For those of you who were brought on by myself, my name should be right here. Michelle Whidbey, her name should be right here. You get the point, okay? So the important part that I want to bring out to you before we go to the next part, ladies and gentlemen, is as you can see, mine is not correct. And yes, I could have had this fixed 100 times, okay, over the past few weeks. But right now, it's not the main thing. The main thing is for these 3 dev teams to get all of this stuff pulled together to where it's working properly and correctly so we can flip the switch under one umbrella. All right. Now, as we get closer to that, I will remind them, okay, because they already know this, I will remind them that my affiliate manager is incorrect and they will change that, no problem. Okay. Also, when things go live, Michelle and I will be able to help you all with this as well. So that'll take some of the heat off of those folks. Now, what we're going to focus on today is the tab reports, okay? The tab reports. So you're going to click reports. You're going to scroll down to tree of sub-affiliates. And before that, I do that, I am also going to tell you that my back office is not right for my team either, okay? And we have spreadsheets for that. So many of you have been wondering, well, why is everybody asking us for all this information? Can't they see this stuff in the back office? Don't they know who we are supposed to be to? Blah, 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 and etc. Well, sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. But here's what we do know. Okay, we do know that if we have spreadsheets with all of this information, we can help them audit and quickly remedy any situations that may occur. So that's why we've been doing that, ladies and gentlemen. So when you click on tree of sub-affiliates, you're going to get a classic view, which personally for me is not my favorite. Okay, I'm just going to go on record to say that. And the reason is because you should be at the top every single time. All right. And you will see your personals direct to you with a plus, okay? And so your personals are going to be direct to you with a plus. Well, then you got to click the pluses, and then their personals are direct to them with a plus, and so on and so on and so on. And it gets very monotonous. And by the time you click 16 pluses, you've lost track of who you were even looking at, okay? I'm just going to be honest. So this is my preferred view, and it is a graphic view, and it's much similar to something that we are used to looking at. Many of us who have been in this industry for 20 plus years, we can look at this and immediately find our team, and we can immediately find the holes and or the missing data, right? So because we can do that, this is my personal favorite, okay? So I'm just sharing with you guys. Now, there's another really important piece under reports that I want to bring out to you guys today, and it's called top referral URL. Top referral URL. So what in the world could that possibly be, and why is it important? I'm going to tell you exactly why it's important. It's important because if you took the time, ladies and gentlemen, if you took the time to notice that we very distinctly, very innately chose our words when we created the contracts, you will recognize that the title of your contract is City Developer Contract, or City Developer License, I believe is actually the proper verbiage. Why would we do that? Why would we give somebody a City Developer License? Because, ladies and gentlemen, you thought that you were just working with hubs. You thought you were just working with devices. You thought that the only thing that you really had to do or would be doing would be bringing those devices to life, lighting cities, right? Well, guess what? That's just stage one. It's just page one. And so you're going to have the ability and the tools in the palm of your very hand to be able to create the city that you want to override. Remember, we told you guys you would override 25% of everything done in your city. We just didn't tell you that there was going to be more than nodes and devices. Okay. So as we move forward, you're going to begin to realize just how big this is and how important it is that we get these contracts, these licenses in the hands of the right people. Okay. This is huge. It's absolutely huge. All right. So let's go on to our next piece of information. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who haven't, please take the time to log into primegatecity.com. Yes, that URL is primegatecity.com. And the first time that you land here, you're going to say, well, what in the world? Well, guess what? This is a page of cities, states, countries that are on the map. Again, are on the map. Okay, so all these whites are on the map. You with me? Now, what's fun about that is as we move forward, you're going to have the ability to send someone to your shopping cart, much like you have gone to the shopping cart with a separate URL, only it'll be in your back office. And they're going to be able to click on what becomes a drop-down menu, right? And they're going to be able to select their city. How cool would it be for you to be able to help your folks and come to this page with them first, right? And be able to give them an idea of what is available and what's not available. Okay, now all of the ones in white you will notice are ours and are on the map. But here's the funny part about that. That's not what's really important about this page for you as a member, okay, as a city developer. So what I want you to do is when you come to this page, I want you to automatically just click a city. It doesn't matter what city. It can be your city, Michelle's city, my city. It doesn't matter what city. Just click a city, okay? And when you click a city, what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is really kind of cool. You're going to go into the middle of the website. Yes, I said the middle. Remember, we've been talking about a social revolution. We've been talking about making things so much easier for everyone in our business, right? So this is going to come in and it's going to allow you to read articles, communicate with one another, check out Prime One Television, you know, music, listen to music. You're going to be able to submit articles. So you're going to blog. Guess what? I have my very first blog is already done. Keith asked me, hey, Chris, you ready to blog? And I said, oh, no. Are you kidding? And he said, well, it's easy. If I show you how, will you do it? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess so. So because I'm on the phone with Keith, you know, upwards of 2 hours a day, most days, then we just kind of do these things as they go live. And he said, what I want you to do is go to this URL, which I will not give you right now, but it is live. And I want you to click on that. And I did, and it brought up my page and I was there and it looked like a, you know, a blog page I'd never seen before. And then what he said was, I want you to go ahead and open another tab and bring up Google. And I said, okay. And he said, tell me one of the cities that you have. And I said, well, I have Charlotte. He says, okay, I want you to write about something in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm like, really? Do I have to? He's like, do you want to get paid to do it? I'm like, really? Sure, show me how. So if you're going to pay me to blog about my city and the things that are going on there, then I'm a little bit more interested, right? So what I did was, because I know that everyone's interested in food, right? I just Googled the top 10 restaurants in Charlotte, North Carolina. I found one that had some really pretty pictures of their food, and I opened that one and I just grabbed everything right off of the internet. So I got their business hours, their phone number, their address, you know, basically a little bit about the business, what type of cuisine it was. I grabbed some pictures and I got some reviews, right? And I threw all of that in fill in the blank motion. Honest to God, fill in the blank motion. I filled in a form. My blog went up like that. And in 5 minutes, I had written a blog about a restaurant downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. It was super easy and it went live really quick. So that's some of the stuff that we have coming to you guys. When I tell you guys that you can build your own city, then that's really, really, really important. Okay. So this website right here is very reminiscent. It kind of feels almost Facebookish, right? Now, was it designed to compete with Facebook? No, but it was designed to make people comfortable so that they could navigate this website with confidence and not be intimidated by it. Okay, so that's the impression. Now, they must be working on the site because ordinarily right here is my name and my icon. So I'm going to hope that I can click login and get to the next page so that I can share with you some of the things and show you what your back office is going to look like in this arena. Okay, so let's see if it's going to let me in. It may or may not, guys. I'm just being honest with you. Ah. Okay, it took me back where I was. But it did log me in. It did log me in. So it's important once you've logged in, what you're going to do is come back to this site. Ordinarily, it's going to refresh you just like it did me just now. You're going to put your cursor on your name. Now, right now they're working on this and there is a tab missing for all of us city developers, and it goes between content manager and invite friends. It'll be right in the middle here, okay? And if I remember correctly, the words they're using is city admin. So city admin would be in between, okay? And that's going to allow you to log into an area that's going to give you all the statistics on your city, how it's growing, what's working, what's not working, where things are headed and where they're not headed, so that you can accurately make business decisions that are going to grow your business to its fullest potential. Today, we're going to focus on Content Manager, and we're going to go there very quickly. And I'm just going to show you a couple things that I know are live back there, or were live last time I was here. And this is what it looks like. Now, everywhere that you guys see Primegate Life and stuff like that, you're going to see our name, okay? So all of this stuff is going to be white labeled, but I believe you can probably begin to understand now the severity, the enormity of this project and why we need 3 dev teams. And to get all of this stuff meshed together and working properly, it's amazing, right? It's just amazing. So what is this page? This page is a quick overview page of the things that are working or not working in your city. And so you could create videos, okay, and publish them. You can create events or write about events. You can bring on businesses, and we'll talk about that. We can bring on businesses that want to use our phase 2 our phase 2 stuff, right? And then you can also write classifieds. Did I just say classifieds? Oh my God, I did. For real, I said classifieds, guys. So why is that important? Well, when is the last time that you guys joined a business, created a business, brick and mortar, online, or got hired on as a consultant or independent contractor in any way, shape, or form, and you were given a 5-year contract? It's impactful, isn't it? So this company doesn't have a 5-year plan. Up to Give has a 25-year plan. Okay. And so does Prime Strategies, just so we're clear. Okay. And that's why you were given a 5-year contract, because we believe that you're going to be so excited about the things that you're capable of doing through those 5 years that you're not going to ever want to go anywhere else in your life. And so classifieds are important, ladies and gentlemen, because how else would you build your business in a specific city? Well, you might use something like advertising, am I right? And so you would click on classifieds, and it's going to give you literally, if it works for me today, oh, it's going to work, cool. It's going to literally give you plug and play requirements for your classified. Are you kidding me? Okay, they've taken the work out of this, guys. All right, you can add an image, you could set your ad budget, you can give a description, the whole 9 yards. And look, it's even going to create a map location for you. All right. And then you're going to give your real important information, which is how they're supposed to contact you. Right. And then you're going to click save and next. And it's not working right now. But what I can tell you about save and next is when we go to the next page, it's going to ask you where you want your ads to appear. Where you want your ads to appear. Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's Craigslist, maybe it's in the local newspaper or local news channel, maybe it's on the radio, all kinds of ways. Okay, I'm just giving you a few glimpses into the future. Okay, so another one that I'm really excited about, I think all of you will be as well. Okay, because I consider this a really huge tool, is banners. So again, banners is basically a plug and play, fill in the blank kind of a deal. But here's the most important part about banners, guys. Are you ready for this? I can't even stop. I just get so excited about this piece because all of these banners are friendly. What do I mean by friendly? Well, they're friendly for embedding. They're friendly for your splash pages, your capture pages. They're friendly for advertising. They're friendly for social media. They're friendly for just about anywhere that you want to put them. They're friendly. And that is huge because every time someone reads those or clicks on those and gets taken anywhere, you're going to get credit for that. How cool is that? And it's going to track it back to you. So you're not advertising for Prime Strategies. You're not advertising for Up to Give, U2G Network. You are advertising for yourself. That is so, so big. So your dashboard is here. Again, I'm just going to click the button and it'll take us back to our dashboard. And then what I want you to carefully notice is community. Well, what is the community? Well, we just came off the community page. Okay, just to clarify, that's the community page. And then articles, that's going to be your blog articles and things where you go. Okay, and then events obviously is events that you may be or may not be holding in your city or town or whatever the case may be. And then of course, photos, videos, and businesses, you can understand what those are. So this is huge. Guys and gals, look, Prime Strategies and Up to Give Network, they're giving us every possible tool you could imagine to be successful. This is so big, I can't even begin to tell you how big it is. So the next piece we may have to get Vanna involved in. I'm not exactly sure if this piece is going to work for me or not work for me, but what you're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the front end, well, the front end of another couple of pages that are going to be in our back office. Michelle, are you with us, honey?
I'm here.
Oh, thank goodness. Is it possible? Are you in front of your computer? Can you share?
Yes, hold on just one moment.
Thank you. Will you play Vanna for me?
I will play Vanna.
Thank
Hold on just one moment.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what Michelle is about to bring up is the same page that I was on, just so you know. And the really important part of this is that what you're looking at is going to be impactful information, hugely impactful information for you and your business. So let me explain right now what you're looking at. And before I do that, I want to just take a second again to congratulate all of you. And I'm not even joking. I want to congratulate each and every one of you guys because you guys have done a off the hook. I can't even begin to tell you how great a job all of you guys have been doing assigning these city development licenses. Okay. And you're going to understand why I say that in just a second. All right. So the reason that I say that right now is this. The map that you're looking at, if you notice, we have blue circles and we have orange circles. And yes, we have some concentration circles with some bigger numbers than we have in other places. And that's a little bit irrelevant at the moment. What you're going to also notice is in the top left-hand corner of the map, you're going to see Prime Gate Cities 2900. And you're going to see PGC Helium 7900. Okay? Guys, and when I say guys, I'm including everybody, okay? So let's just get that off the table. Guys, this is huge. Can I tell you how huge this is? Because watch this. Helium has had since January 1st, to get this done, to light some cities, right? They had an opportunity, much like the opportunity we have, only not nearly as good, a compensation package. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But here's what I want to tell you. They've put in 7,900 since January, and we're knocking on October's door. Okay? So in 9 months, they birthed 7,900 cities. In 30 days, we launched 2,900 devices. Okay, so let's clarify that. That's 2,900 devices, and for Helium, that's 7,900 devices. Okay, that's not even cities. We're just talking about devices at the moment. Congratulations, you guys rock. Are you kidding me? That is huge. So now I want to move on to Prime Gate Cities and explain what you're going to see at Prime Gate Cities. And yes, we have the whole world map here for all of you to see. Okay, so notice it just shows the orange. Now this is exciting because what I want you guys to understand, you're looking at, are you guys ready for this? You're looking at all of the devices virtually launched. This is the virtual launch map. Are you kidding? I can't even begin to tell you how exciting that is because we've all been wanting to see where are the devices, right? Well, right here's the devices. And guys and gals, this is pretty accurate. I will tell you that they haven't been updating this in real time since they gave me the ability to see all of this stuff. Okay, those numbers are probably 4 or 5 days old now. So, you know, I'm sure that we've broken 3,000 devices by now. I'm sure of that. And I'm really excited to see how many devices we're going to have on the map by the end of the month. Okay, by the end of the month. And that's another reason why we stopped sending out new contracts so that we could get all this stuff audited and make sure that the devices that have been purchased for the contracts that have gone out is accurate, guys. Okay. All right. So the next little button we're going to pick is going to be PGC devices. We don't care about Helium. Now, what I do want to say about Helium for a second, well, let me say this first. What you're about to see at PGC devices is 2 pink dots. You see them? I hope you do. You're going to see 2 pink dots. You're probably going, Chris, where did all of them go? Well, I'm going to tell you, this is really exciting, okay? Because this is the real-time map. What do I mean by that? Well, this is the map that when you get the device and you plug it into the wall and you push the button and the GPS location is assigned to that physical device, then it shows up on this map. How cool is that? So we're going to be able to look at the Prime Gate Cities map and this map and compare the two and watch them go from virtual to real, as in physical. And that is going to be huge, guys. That is going to be so huge. I can't even wait. You're going to be able to click on these devices, just so you know, these dots, and you're going to be able to get the information about said said unit. And that is even bigger news, right? That's even bigger news. So let's talk about helium for a minute as Michelle goes over to marketing for me. And you know, we are excited about helium, okay? And helium is a partner of Prime Gate, right? Is a partner of Prime Gate. And I want to clarify that for those of you guys trying to call Helium or write them or send them emails or whatever, they're not going to talk to you. They're just not going to talk to you. And a matter of fact, they may even tell you they don't know who we are. Well, let me tell you why that is. It's because, you know, we get our feelings hurt in business sometimes, right? And Helium was offered, the opportunity to have a sweet deal. And I'm not going to tell you that they did or did not say this, but what I will say in general is, the belief wasn't there that this could be done in a certain amount of time. And quite honestly, Helium didn't have what we have, which is all of you guys. And they didn't have the passion that we have about what? Lighting the cities. And they didn't have the compensation package put together that we have that is huge. It's going to change the world for a lot of people and eradicate poverty in so many places. All right. And so their belief level that it could be done wasn't as large as ours. And so I'm going to tell you that we want Helium to do what they do. What are they doing? They're sticking pretty much to their white paper. Anybody read it? I have a couple times. They're pretty much sticking right with their white paper. And we want them to do that actually, because that is one of the way that we get compensated. Am I right? And, we want all crypto, projects to be successful. We want them all to work out. So let's just let Helium do what they do and let us do what we do. Okay. So that's what I wanted to talk about with Helium. Now, as you notice, Michelle's gone to marketing and there's two different things. What we're going to look at today is agent development. And under agent development, you're going to find a lot of information. One of the things I do want you to make sure of is your affiliate manager is correct on this page as well. When you get access to this page, I want you to be able to figure that your affiliate manager is correct. What are we looking at? We're looking at a statistics report. How many impressions do you have? How many clicks did you get out of those impressions? What were your sales numbers? What was the total in dollar sales? What are your totals in commission sales? This is important stuff for you guys to be able to keep up with as a city developer, okay? Now, what we're going to look at right now is customer count. Customer count. And what's really cool about this is if you guys remember and you were on the call with Jerry Lopez this past Wednesday, you know that he said, as long as we don't have any hiccups and as long as things go as planned, which it looks like they are, then we should be able to start seeing some things on next Friday, which will be this Friday, right? And some of the things that he alluded to or come right out and said that we would see would be Prime One Chat, Prime One TV, PGC devices, Prime One Pass, the mining, your back office. All of this is part of your back office, guys. And what you're looking at right now is the prototype, okay, for the top 5 countries on the chat service. And what we're going to show you is how many people are registered in each country and how many people are actually using out of the people that are registered, okay? So this gives you areas of opportunity. It's also going to give you a graph so you can kind of figure out where you're headed and what you're doing, okay? Now, Michelle, if you would be so kind, let's go ahead and show them the TV, why don't you? So the TV is a little bit different. It's going to show you country. It's going to show you users, and then it's going to show you Prime users, right? Prime users. So these are numbers that we just artificially put in to show as an example, all right? But as we all know, the U.S. is going to lead in television, right? Because the U.S. has one of the biggest populations of TV viewers on the planet. Now, we're also going to be able to show you this in a graph, and we're looking forward to this data collection because it's going to show you where you have pockets of ability for your growth in your business. Okay. So Michelle, if you'll show them the PG devices, please. This is where you're going to see all of the real devices. When I say real, I mean the ones that went out, right? That everybody's going to get excited about. That box you plug into the wall. This is exciting, guys, right? And so when you plug that thing into the wall and you sit it next to your window and you push that little button, it gets its GPS location. And now it's on the map as a real proof of coverage device. Did you like how I did that? A real proof of coverage device. That's pretty cool. All right. So all of the countries, all of the cities, all the states, just click on one. Michelle, doesn't matter which one. When you click on these, they're going to give you a drop down. It's going to tell you exactly where things are located and what's happening. Okay, what's happening with them. That's huge information. So you're going to have so much information here. It is unbelievable, the things that we're going to be able to report to you. Okay, so if you will, Michelle, let's show them ecology real quick. So what is ecology for? We have a social, we have a biophysical, and then we have the data. Okay, so you guys know, every one of you on this call is a leader. Every one of you on this call is a city developer. Every one of you on this call knows that helium is the cherry on top of the hot fudge sundae. I don't have to tell you that. Okay, and it's a pretty good cherry. We love that cherry. Okay, but we all know that the main mission, because we've had one action item to do for the last 30 days. We're going to have that action item again the next 30 days too, so don't forget. One action item for the last 30 days. What was it? To complete CDLs and activate those CDLs. Okay, complete them and activate them. Rinse and repeat. Complete them and activate them. Rinse and repeat. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 30 days. And because we only gave you that one bite-sized piece of information, that one bite-sized task, we were able to do a third of the numbers that helium took 9 months to do. That's incredible. That is incredible. Okay. So you all know that what we're after, what is the collection of data, right? It's the data collection that we're really excited about. Not only are we excited about that, but we know that if we get that, what are we doing? We're creating the helium as well as the data coverage. Not only are we creating the data coverage, but then we're also, sorry guys, Bella, are you okay? We're also creating data, okay? Data credits. We're grabbing the data, we're grabbing the data credits, we're moving along, right? We're getting more than just the helium. Now, is it important for us to get the helium? Absolutely, it's important for us to get the helium. Is it important for us to get the helium and the data from that? Absolutely, it's important because it's a win-win. But see, we're in a marathon. We are creating an infrastructure that is going to be around for decades to come. We're creating an infrastructure that is going to allow us to have our business for, generations to come. How cool is that? So let's talk about some of this data that we're collecting and how is it even useful. So you notice the blues and the light colors on the map. The dark colors on the map are the people that are the most happy with where they live. Well, check that out. The U.S. is one of them. Imagine that. And the lighter colors, moving into the whites even, are the ones that are the least happiest with where they live. Now, doesn't that allow us to know where we need to focus our philanthropic mission? Doesn't that allow us to know where we need to work the hardest to help people enjoy their lives more? Ladies and gentlemen, we only get one life. There's only one time around the road, okay? You only get to go once. Don't we want everybody to be as happy as possible? Absolutely. So let's click on biophysical and see what we're collecting over there. Well, on biophysical, Michelle, we're collecting the the actual ecosystem stuff. Okay, so notice we got some green going on, right? And the green, guys, that's where they're doing it right. That's where they're doing it the best, right? They're recycling more. They're using less aerosol cans, less pesticides, yada yada yada. Okay, and of course, the lightest colors is where they're doing it not quite so well. And yes, the United States is one of them. Isn't that kind of funny how we were in the best data on the last map, but in the worst data on the second map? Let's look at country data, Michelle, and show them what we can do over here. So we can actually tell you guys on a country basis what life satisfactory is, sanitation levels, income levels, energy, how much education, the quality of employment, et cetera, et cetera. And we can even compare that to another country. We can even compare that to another country, which is huge. When we compare this stuff to other countries, we can not only see where we have room to improve, we can also see where we're doing pretty well, and we want to continue where we're doing. But let's just say that Michelle wants to move to Australia. Well, she might want to know if her experience, if her life might be similar to what her life and her experience is here in the States. And so she can compare those two both on a social and a biophysical level. That's important. That is really, really huge. Okay. So as you can see, there's some really exciting stuff going on. And, you know, when we get on calls and tell you guys there's so much going on in the background, I believe that this sneak peek is probably helping each and every one of you guys quite a bit. So Michelle, thank you so much for sharing. If you'll give me back the ability to share, I will begin to share as well. And we'll get this puppy circled around. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that this information is so important to everybody is because you need to know how to run your business. You need to know that there is more than just a hub going out there, right? So, I didn't mean to. Um, okay, so here's what I want to tell you guys, each and every one of you guys. So, I'm going to go backwards because my screens are forward where I wanted them to be. So if you didn't know, hopefully you did, but if you didn't know, we have our very own exchange. It's called Supreme Global. You're going to go to Supreme CRPX, CRPX.com, and you're going to join now. It'll be right here. Okay, I've already done it. So it'll be right here. You're going to click dashboard. Once you log in, it's going to redirect you. You'll click dashboard. Okay. If it doesn't redirect you to this page, ladies and gentlemen, you can quickly get here by just clicking on you, which is a blank circle when you first begin. Okay. Click on your blank circle, scroll down to go to dashboard, and you can get there that way. So what are we looking at today? Well, we are going to look at digital wallets. Don't you need a wallet for your helium to be in? And don't you also have to lie and say you live outside the US and or use a VPN and or say that you live in the Virgin Islands in order to have a helium wallet right now? Yes. Now, are they working on getting that fixed for us US folks? Absolutely. And do I believe that'll happen very soon? I sure do. But until then, would you not like to have a place to put them? You're going to come to digital wallet. You're going to scroll down to cryptocurrency wallets. You're going to click on Helium wallet. Okay. And the first time you click on it, this little guy right here is going to pop up in another screen, and he's going to ask you if you want to create a Helium wallet. And you're going to say yes. And you click on yes, and it's going to say, please stand by for a few minutes. And then it's going to say, completed. And then you're going to refresh the screen. You're going to click on Helium again, and it's going to give you your Helium wallet. Okay. So it's going to give you your Helium wallet. How cool is that? All right. So you're going to be able to put that right in here. Now, interestingly enough, We also have on our own exchange a few other things. We have Bitcoin and Goldback Coin and Bitcoin Hyper and Travel X. Did I say Travel X? Travel X. And these are some fun things that are going to be happening and coming to our exchange very, very quickly. So when our exchange, by the way, it is live and can be used. When our exchange gets all of us in here and we get some traffic, we're going to be able to see all these things that are happening on this exchange, just like any other exchange, Binance or others, okay? So this is exciting. I really am very excited about this. So ladies and gentlemen, there is so many different things that I want to show you, but I want to end the actual what ifs, okay, with a few things. Number one, we're not just going to provide, okay, we're not going to just provide the the hubs. All right, that's just the first phase of this. And as Jerry showed you guys, he run through this kind of quickly. We have so many devices. Okay, I think they start on 11. Nope, they start on 10. Nope, they start on 9. Nope, they start on 8. So 8 through 37. Check this out. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. 37 devices, guys. 37 devices. Now, why is this important? I'm going to show you right now. If I can get to that screen, I'm going to show you why that is so important. It's so important because right now you are, I'm going to stop sharing so I can go get that, so I can get a URL. So right now you're thinking that you want to be able to, right? You want to be able to put these things to the best use possible. You want to be able to see all of this information. And what the heck is a data credit for? And why would we need data credits? And oh yeah, by the way, who's looking at this stuff? All very good questions, all very glad you asked. And as soon as I get this link to go to my site, I will be sharing with you some of that information that we are currently able to collect. Now, it's important to understand every single city around the globe right now is doing what? Using IoT. They're using IoT. And what's really important about the fact that they're using IoT is this. They're using it, but they're not using it in the manner that we want to use it and that we will teach you guys how to use it. And why is that important? Well, it's very important because at the end of the day, what they're using IoT for is an example such as this. So let's say you pull up to a stop sign, okay? And that stop sign, that stop light, excuse me, that stop light has had 59 seconds on it. And you just get stopped. And 60 seconds does what? Goes into play. And then what happens? The light turns, okay? And so that is IoT because it either works by car count or it works by time. And it is allowed to do a different application once it is triggered. That's IoT. Let's talk about a couple other ones. The crosswalk, where you push the button and it stops the traffic, right? So you can go across. IoT. Hey, guess what? They just started equipping in a lot of the major cities around the United States. They just started equipping emergency vehicles with a switch they can flip. When they flip that switch and they're coming up to an intersection, it knows how to adjust the lights to stop everybody based on the direction the vehicle's going and do what? Prevent accidents, deaths. How many people die in emergency vehicles responding? Okay, because people don't give the common courtesy to stop for the vehicle. So That's IoT. And there's so many other IoT examples out there. And I'm going to show you right now some of the stuff that we are collecting. Okay. We are collecting. I don't know what that is doing. Why is it not letting me share my screen? Share screen. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. And so what you're seeing right now is an example of one of the gateways that we have. Now, this gateway, just so you know, this gateway right here is in Burbank, California. It happens to be one of Prime's locations. And some of the things that it is collecting at the moment is the road temp in front of the building. It's collecting the data on the third floor toilet usage. So they use 245.5 gallons, all right, in a day. Upstairs power usage, 343.7 kilowatts. That's crazy. Are you kidding me? All right. Now, all of these are green, so we know they're all right, right? But then you get this little thing with this red exclamation point. What could that possibly mean? Well, first, it means that you've been alerted as the person that has that gateway, okay? You've been alerted on your app, on your mobile device, that there's an issue, and you are going to log into your dashboard so that you can see that there's an issue in the boiler room. And that issue in the boiler room is incredible because what's happening is there's no heat in the 18-story building for this example, right? So let's talk about the preventive things that we can do because we know this. So because we have the app, because we closed the building on Thursday, and this is Friday evening, because it is snowing and sleeting outside, it's below zero, and no one is going to be in the building until next Tuesday, it's important that we got this alert so that we can get with the maintenance crew. And we have 5 maintenance people in this particular location, and only 2 of them can work on the boiler. So we send Mr. Andrew a message that says, hey, Andrew, we've been alerted the boiler is down in the boiler room. Can you get there and get it up and running ASAP? And you did all of this from your app, saving time and energy, looking up telephone numbers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And guess what else didn't happen? The building didn't freeze, okay? And you didn't walk in on Tuesday morning, unlock the door, and be met with water rolling out the door, right? Because the temperature's gone back up, the building has thawed, and every pipe in the building has busted. Now, what's important about this is you don't want that to happen to you or anyone else. And you can now provide the information to businesses to prevent this from happening. Can you imagine if an 18-room building froze? Can you imagine the expense if you could save the building that you would go through to get it back up and running? Let's talk about it for a second. All the pipes, right? All the ceilings, all of the floors, all of the furniture, all of the electronics, everything literally would have to be replaced. And you just saved them all of that expense because you put them on this service. How cool is that? How cool is that? So that's just one of the things that we are, that is just one of the things that we are able to track. Michelle, I think that our next group is starting to pre-join. We're going to probably need to.
I'm just going to leave them in the waiting room, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Okay, guys and gals. So let's speed up just a little bit. We could tell you where your housekeepers are and in what room, how long they've been there, you know, when they got there, when they left. If you are a multiple city developer, you're not going to have multiple back offices for this, okay? Each one of these addresses represents a city developer's license. So they will all be in one place for you, easy to manage and easy for you to view. Now, real quick, I want to show you guys some things, some other things that we are able to monitor, all right? Right now, we're in a global pandemic. Right now, you and I both know that our entire lives, our entire world's changed in just a few short days, it felt like, right? So when all of this is over, God willing, and we're all able to go back to whatever normal looks like, don't you think that businesses are going to want to be on a heightened alert? Don't you think they're going to want to be able to be more preventative as opposed to reactive? I do. And let's talk about that for a second. What if you could monitor, and we are 8 different locations right now, okay? And on these 8 different locations, we're monitoring the traffic. So let's talk about the stadium for a second. All right. On the stadium, guess what happens? We can tell you exactly how many people have been in the building, when they were there, when they left. And let's just say for a second, we'll use COVID as an example because that's what we have before us. Okay. Let's just say for a second that after 1 o'clock, there was an exposure to someone that we could prove had COVID in this case. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to contact all of these folks that came in after 1 o'clock? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to isolate those people? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to give them a call or some type of some type of a some type of a heads up? We'll call it that. Well, some type of a heads up that they, might need to be checked and they might need to monitor themselves because they've been exposed. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this information is huge, but let's talk about it in a different way. What if this is a business and it's a business owner's looking at it? Don't you think after a month of this type of information, they can look back and they can control their labor costs? They can control the environment of the restaurant or the building or the hotel or whatever the case it may be. They are more in control because they have accurate data. That's huge, guys. All right, so let's look at desk occupancy real quick. Now, this one is kind of cool because if you are the receptionist at the front office of the 18-story building and there are many, many, many employees there and you're answering the phone and you want to know if Kevin's in, hang on 1 second, let me see, please. You look, Kevin's not there. But Ryan and Kevin work together and you look and see, and guess what? Ryan is there. You can come back and say, Kevin's not in his office today, but Ryan is. May I patch you through? Can you see how you would be able to give better customer service with some of this information? Guys, this stuff is just crazy. It just blows my mind every time I look at it. Let's talk about level sensors real quick. Level sensors are kind of cool. Look at this. Let's say this is the dashboard for a brewery. And let's say that each one of these is indicative of an ingredient. And let's just say that at a glance, we can go, oh my God, I'm going to be 2 ingredients short in a minute. I'm not going to be able to make X, Y, Z. So now guess what happens? You can call an order, all right, and get that stuff back in there before it runs out. But let's talk about the time and the labor and the stress that this saves, all right? You didn't have to go get the stick, right, and put it down in there and see how many inches were there. Turn the inches into gallons and the gallons into minutes and days and hours so that you know how long you have before you run out of a certain thing. Can you see where this is cutting labor? Can you see where it's also cutting stress? Can you see where it's also enabling you to be a better business person and offer better product? Because this way you're not running out. What if you make a mistake on the inches conversion to gallons and you think you have more than you do? Wouldn't that be a catastrophe? That's how a lot of gas stations run out of gas, by the way. I'm just letting you know. So, these are huge things. Now, water usage. Let me share with you guys something that I learned very, very recently, and that is that hotels, the biggest cost in hotels, would you believe it, is wasted water. Wasted water. Are you kidding me? Wasted water. So let's just say this is a hotel and each one of these is a resemblance of a room, and you would have already been alerted, right, on your app, because you would see an red exclamation point, which would tell you to log in and check out and see what's going on. And immediately when you log in, these 2 flashing at you are going, hey, silly, over here, there's something wrong. Maybe it's a toilet that's stuck and it's just continuing to run. Maybe it's somebody was just plain out mean and left the faucet running in the sink and the faucet in the shower running. We don't know what it is, but we know that it's happening, okay? And we can prevent a great deal of lossage, which makes that hotel owner's bottom line go up, right? But it also makes that hotel owner a proponent of a greener ecosystem, of a better world for our kids and grandkids. That is amazing, guys. That is amazing. So there's one more thing I like to show, and I'm going to show it here, and then we're going to break. And I'm sorry we're not going to be able to do any questions and answers today. That's just how it goes sometimes. But what are we looking at here? For those of you who have been in the hospitality industry, specifically restaurants, you know very, very certainly that waste in the form of food is the largest cost for a restaurant. Okay, so what if you've got 17 restaurants, and what if we could offer that owner of those 17 restaurants the ability to be able to, at a glance, look and see every one of their cooler storage, every one of their freezer storage, every one of their hot presses, every one of their salad bars, every one of everything that they've got that has anything to do with temperature, and they could immediately tell when it was down. Well, this is huge because we're going to use WB because it's his call today. This is WB's restaurant, and I'm going to be able to call him as the owner, and I'm going to say, WB, I got an alert. Our cooler just hit over freezing, and it's headed towards the 40 mark. Can you get over to the store and move the product over to another cooler before we lose it? Did you hear what I said? Move the product over to another cooler before we lose it. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't know if you realize how much food is in a walk-in freezer in a restaurant, but it could be the difference between a profit and a complete loss for a month or maybe even longer for that restaurant. So all of this information is hugely important. Not only is it hugely important, but it's going to allow each and every one of us to be able to offer to businesses the ability to add to their bottom lines as well as become more eco-friendly. I hope each and every one of you guys have enjoyed this today. I hope that you guys understand that this is why it's taken a few minutes to get everything up and running. This is why it is so important that we keep the focus. This is why it is so important that we let our people that are locking arms with us in these city developer contracts, we let them know that there's more to it than just these gateways and hubs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to be here today. We're going to close out the call so that we can open the room for the next call. We love you. We hope you got a lot out of it. WB, thank you so much for putting this together on a short notice. God bless, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.